Good morning, my dear students. Today we will read chapter number 12, I Am Malala. So this story, it's an autobiography, means it's written by Malala herself and it describes her life. Actually, the full autobiography is I Am Malala, but here they have taken only one extract and let us see what is her life all about. So, Malala Yousafzai was a co awardee of the Nobel Peace Prize in 2014 for her struggle against the suppression of children and for the right of all children to education. Living in the Swat Valley in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province in northwest Pakistan, she had always spoken up for girls' right to education. At the risk of angering the local Taliban, which had at times banned girls from going to school. She was 15 when she was shot at by members of militant group. In this extract from her autobiography, I Am Malala, she recalls the fateful afternoon of the incident. So, this girl, when she was only 15 years old, she was shot by a militant group. Why? Because she works for the education of children, especially girls, where the girls are banned from going to school. So she is based in Pakistan. Let's read in detail. The day when everything changed was on Tuesday, 9 October 2012. It wasn't the best of days to start with, as it was the middle of school exams, though, as a bookish girl, I didn't mind them as much as some of my classmates. So, what she says that the exams were going on and she was a bookish girl. She loves to read and study, so she enjoyed her exams, but some of her classmates do not. The morning we arrived in the narrow mud lane of Haji Baba Road in our usual procession of brightly painted rickshaws, spluttering diesel fumes, each one crammed with 5 or 6 girls. Since the time of the Taliban, our school has had no sign, and the ornamented brass door in a white wall across from the woodcutter's yard gives no hint of what lies beyond. So, yes, this is their morning routine. They used to sit in the rickshaws, uh, diesel run rickshaws, and come to school. They arrive through a narrow mud lane, मीन्स एक पतली कच्ची गली में से निकलकर रिक्शा पर बैठकर आती थी सब गर्ल्स. Like one rickshaw there were usually 5 to 6 girls, and because of the Taliban, the presence of the militant groups in the area, the school had no sign. It was just a white wall and a brass door, and no one could imagine that behind that brass door is a school going on for girls. For us girls, that doorway was like a magical entrance to our own special world. As we skipped through, we cast off our headscarves like winds puffing away clouds to make way for the sun. They ran hurriedly up the steps. At the top of the step was an open courtyard with doors to all the classrooms. We dumped our backpacks in our rooms and gathered for morning assembly under the sky, our backs to the mountains as we stood to attention. So, again, when they entered the school, this was their routine. They used to dump their backpacks in the rooms, but before that, as they entered, as we skipped through, as they went inside, they used to cast off their headscarves. They used to remove the dupattas over their heads, like she has compared it, like the winds take away the clouds so that the sun can shine brightly. Same way, the girls used to take off their dupattas over their heads and just to read properly and to just shine bright like a sun. So there was a at the top of the step there was an open courtyard, means a khula chhajja jaisa, where they used to do their morning assembly. The school was founded by my father before I was born, and on the wall above us, Khushhal School was painted proudly in big letters. We went to school 6 mornings a week, and as a 15-year-old in year 9, My classes were spent chanting chemical equations or studying Urdu grammar, writing stories in English with morals like haste makes waste, or drawing diagrams of blood circulation. So, she says that the name of the school was Khushal School, which was founded by her own father, and she was now in year 9 of the school, and she has explained the different subjects which she used to study, like English grammar, English stories with morals, Urdu grammar, chemistry, and other subjects like science. Most of my classmates wanted to be doctors. It's hard to imagine that anyone would see that as a threat. Yet, outside the door to the school lay not only the noise and craziness of Mingora, the main city of Swat, but also those like the Taliban who think girls should not go to school. So, yes, what she says that most of her classmates wanted to become doctors, but as outside the school there were a lot of noises of Taliban, of the militant groups, of the terrorist groups, that education is not meant for girls. She says that, like, as there was a lot of craziness and noise of the city of Mengora, she was based in the city of Mengora in Swat Valley. Same way, the militant groups were very active, who made noises of, like, the girl child should not go to school, made noises like they were opposing the thought of the girl child going to school. That morning had begun like any other, though a little later than usual. It was exam time, so school started at 9 instead of 8. It was good for me as I don't like getting up and can't sleep through the crows of the cocks and the prayer calls of the muezzin. First, my father would try to rouse me. Time to get up, Jani Mun, he would say. This means soulmate in Persian, and he always called me that at the start of the day. A few more minutes, Abba, please. I would beg, then burrow deeper under the quilt. So she is explaining one particular morning that when the exams were going on, their school started at 9 always, not at 8. So she used to sleep. She loved to sleep a little, like, late, but yes, she says that the crows of the cocks and the prayer calls of the muezzins cannot wake him up. Like, we have pandits in our temples who calls us for the puja and all. Same way, mosques have these muezzins. These are the pandits of Muslim people, you can say, who call for namaz. So father would always try to wake her up, and while waking her up, the father used to call her Jani Mun. Jani Mun means soulmate, means dil se jude hue log. And what she used to reply that, Abba, let me sleep a few more minutes. And after saying this, she used to burrow under her quilt, means अपनी रजाई के और नीचे दब जाती सोने के लिए. Then my mother would come. Pisho, she would call. This means cat and is her name for me. At this point, I would realize the time and shout, Bhabhi, I am late. In our culture, every man is your brother and every woman is your sister. That's how we think of each other. When my father first brought his wife to school, all the teachers referred to her as my brother's wife or Bhabhi. That's how it stayed from then on. We all call her Bhabhi now. So, yes, she says that for waking me up, my mother used to come and my mother used to call me Pisho. Pisho means cat, it's written there. And she says that every time in our culture, like, every man is our brother and every woman is our sister. But when my father first took my mother to the school, and everybody called her Bhabhi, and as a child, I grabbed that word and I learned that word, and I started calling my mother as Bhabhi. I slept in the long room at the front of our house, and the only sum of the money I had, sorry, and the only furniture was a bed and a cabinet. I had brought those with some of the money I had been given as an award for campaign for peace in our valley and the right for girls to go to school. On some shelves were the gold colored plastic cups and trophies I had won for coming first in my class. Only twice had I not come first. Both times when I was beaten by my class rival Malkai Noor. I was determined it would not happen again. So she says she is describing her house, that she slept in a long room which was in front of the house and which was having a bed and a cabinet. And on some shelves there were the cups which she had won for coming first in her class, and only two times she had not come first in her class and she was beaten by her friend. Beaten by means उसे हरा दिया गया था. By her friend means two times Malkai Noor came first in the class. And she was determined, Malala was very determined that she would not let Malkai Noor to come first again. So this was a healthy competition.